Hey, it's Dennis again. So here's one of the big roadblocks that people have when coming into a lot of recovery programs. And it's the God thing. God, no. Yeah, that's the thing that keeps a lot of people from trying it. And I understand, I was the same way. When I started going to AA and I started listening to people in different recoveries, not all, there's some that don't do this at all, but the big ones do. And they were talking about higher power in God, and I'm, why you keep talking about this? I didn't come here for that. I don't want to convert. This is a cult. It's not a cult. Why though? Why do they keep pushing higher power in God? I'm going to tell you why. You need to understand what you're dealing with. Your addiction is way, way stronger than you are. If you were stronger than it, then you wouldn't be listening to this. You know what you're dealing with, and it is a force far greater than you can handle on your own. When I first came in and I started thinking about it, this is how I thought. When I was a little kid, we would go to Cape Cod every summer, and would spend the whole summer on Cape Cod, and we'd go to the beach, and my sister and I would go down and play in the ocean, and I would build these sand castles along the edge of the water, and typically low tide, and I would build these giant moats and walls and all sorts of protections to protect the castle, and I was going to protect it from the waves coming in, and I dug deep holes protecting it. And at first I was holding back the water, but eventually every single time the tide was going to take over it. Obviously, right? Yeah, little kid, you're just playing. But it's like that, right? You're trying to do something, and it's a force far, far greater than you. Your addiction is like the tide coming in. It's way stronger than you. And so when you do come in, you have to acknowledge that, you're powerless over that. If you think that you have some sort of power over your addiction, then you're going to be out there longer. You need to understand that is a basic, that it is stronger than you by yourself. If you didn't believe that, again, you probably wouldn't be listening to this. So the most obvious thing is to say, okay, well, there's God, right? But a lot of people don't like that idea. And so different things are used often. People will say the power of the group, and that's fine. The group is stronger. You are stronger with the group, with the whatever recovery group you're with. Other people do look at nature and look at things like the tide or just the forces of nature and say, okay, that is my power that's greater. The reason why people end up with God is because they can create a God of their understanding that they can have a relationship with and ask for help, right? It's a little hard to ask for help from a forest, or you can ask for help from the group, and that's always good. But this is the reason why you cannot do it on your own, and you need a power far greater than yourself. It is somewhat, it takes time sometimes, right? A lot of people have no problem with it, right? They come right in, oh yeah, I believe in God, that's fine. But a lot of people have a real problem with it. And I ask you to bear with us, with that whatever group you're in. And like I said, there's some groups that don't require this at all. They're Smart Recovery, I think it is, that don't. But the most successful, the big ones do have that as an aspect, that there is a spirituality within the recovery process. And that's not a small thing. Eventually, in your own way and in a very gentle way, you tend to develop a spirituality, and it nourishes you. That spirituality becomes as important as the physical and the mental. The spiritual becomes so important to you in a very good way. Nobody's asking you to start saying novenas and go to confession. But they are saying that, you might want to try developing this part of yourself, and it helps tremendously. When you do have this on your side, it is a lot easier to go through the process, to know that you have a power greater than yourself on your side when you're working against or trying to deal with your addiction. That's all for now. Thanks.